You've probably seen ads promising smooth, hair-free skin forever with just a few treatments. But here's the uncomfortable truth about permanent hair removal that most clinics won't tell you up front. Some methods can actually eliminate hair for good, while others just slow things down. Let's separate the real science from the marketing hype. What permanent actually means. Here's something that might surprise you. The hair removal industry uses the word permanent differently than you'd expect. The FDA only recognizes one method as truly permanent, and it's not what most people are getting done. Everything else falls under permanent reduction, which sounds similar but means something completely different. Permanent removal means the hair follicle is destroyed and will never produce hair again. Permanent reduction means hair growth is significantly decreased, but some follicles can still wake up and start producing hair months or even years later. Think of it like this: removal is deleting a file permanently, while reduction is just moving it to a folder you rarely open. Most people walk into clinics expecting to never see another hair again after their sessions. The reality is that while you'll see dramatic results, occasional regrowth is normal. Those new hairs are usually finer, lighter, and way less noticeable than before, but they're still there. The confusion happens because marketing makes everything sound absolute. A clinic saying permanent hair removal gets more bookings than one honestly saying, "You'll probably need touch-ups every few years." Understanding this distinction before you book anything will save you from disappointment and help you set realistic expectations about what your money is actually buying. How hair growth works. Before spending hundreds of dollars on treatments, you need to understand why your hair won't disappear after one session. Your hair doesn't all grow at the same time. Each follicle cycles through 3 distinct phases: growing, resting, and shedding. Right now, only about 30% of your body hair is actually in the active growing phase. This matters because hair removal treatments can only target follicles during that growing stage. When hair is actively growing, it's still attached to the root and darkest in color, making it vulnerable to treatment. During the resting phase, the hair has already detached from the blood supply. Shedding phase hair is basically already dead and on its way out. Since your follicles are on different schedules, a single treatment only catches that 30% that happens to be growing at that moment. The other 70% are sitting there completely untouched, waiting for their turn to grow. This is exactly why every legitimate provider will tell you up front that multiple sessions are required. Damaging a follicle isn't the same as destroying it either. A damaged follicle might produce thinner, slower growing hair instead of shutting down completely. A destroyed follicle is done forever. The goal of repeated treatments is to catch all the follicles during their growing phase and destroy them completely, not just rough them up a bit. Electrolysis truth. Let's talk about the one method the FDA calls permanent: electrolysis. A technician inserts a tiny needle into each individual hair follicle and zaps it with electrical current. The electricity essentially cooks the root, and when done correctly, that follicle will never produce hair again. It's tedious, but it actually works. The process comes in 3 types. Galvanic uses chemical reactions, thermolysis uses heat from vibration, and blend combines both. Most modern practitioners use thermolysis because it's faster, though there aren't enough studies comparing them to say definitively which works best. What matters is the skill level of your technician, not necessarily which type they use. The biggest advantage? Electrolysis works on everyone. Dark skin, light skin, blonde hair, red hair. That annoying peach fuzz on your face. Since it's not relying on pigment contrast like laser treatments, it targets the follicle directly, regardless of your coloring. This makes it the only real option for people with very light or gray hair. Now for the downsides. It's incredibly time-consuming and painful. Each hair gets treated individually, so a full leg could take years of regular appointments. Most people describe the sensation as more intense than laser, like repeated bee stings. Sessions can cost around $50 to $150, depending on the area and length, and you'll need many of them. Laser hair removal. Laser takes a completely different approach by shooting concentrated light at your hair. The melanin pigment absorbs the light energy, which travels down the shaft into the follicle and heats it until it's damaged or destroyed. No needles involved, and it covers larger areas much faster than electrolysis could ever manage. You'll typically need 6 to 8 sessions, spaced about 4 to 6 weeks apart. After the first treatment, expect around 10 to 25% reduction. Hair that does grow back tends to be finer and lighter colored. Many people stay mostly hair-free for months or years, though calling it truly permanent is stretching the truth for most cases. The catch is that laser works best when there's high contrast. Light skin with dark hair is ideal. The laser needs to distinguish between your skin and the hair follicle, otherwise it might heat up both and burn you. Newer lasers can safely treat darker skin tones, but you absolutely need an experienced technician who knows the right settings. Cheap med spa treatments with undertrained staff have left people with serious burns and hyperpigmentation. Blonde, red, or gray hair barely responds to laser because there's not enough pigment to absorb the light. Each session averages around $285, and most areas require at least 4 treatments minimum. The math adds up quickly, though it's still usually cheaper long-term than a lifetime of waxing appointments. So, have you tried laser or electrolysis, and did it actually work long-term for you? Setting realistic expectations. Nobody wants to hear this after spending over $1,000, but some hair will probably come back eventually. Even with perfect treatments from skilled professionals, your body doesn't always cooperate. Hormonal changes from pregnancy, menopause, medications, or conditions like PCOS can wake up dormant follicles years after you thought you were done. Genetics play a role too. Some people respond incredibly well and stay smooth for decades with minimal maintenance. Others need touch-up sessions every year or two to keep new growth under control. The technician's skill matters enormously as well. An inexperienced operator might use incorrect settings that only damage follicles instead of destroying them completely. What drastically reduced regrowth actually looks like in practice. Instead of shaving every day or waxing every month, you might tweeze a few stray hairs every few months. The hair that does return is typically much finer and lighter than your original growth. For most people, this feels like success, even if it's not technically 100% permanent. The smartest approach is budgeting for maintenance from the start. Plan on occasional touch-up sessions rather than expecting to never think about hair removal again. If a clinic promises you'll be perfectly smooth forever after their package, they're either lying or inexperienced. Honest providers will explain up front that while results are dramatic and long-lasting, your body might have other plans down the road. The bottom line is that permanent reduction is absolutely real and worth it for most people, but perfect permanent removal is rare. Electrolysis comes closest to the promise, while laser delivers impressive long-term results with way less time investment. If you found value in this video, you're gonna love this next one.